Do you know that the average person is bombarded with more than 6,000 thoughts a day, yet the mind often spirals into overdrive, leaving us feeling stressed and scattered? If you've ever struggled to stay focused on your goals, you're not alone. Neville Goddard's teachings remind us that when we learn to conquer our minds, we can tap into limitless potential. In this video, we'll delve into Goddard's core principles and discover how powerful focused thinking can be. Imagine eliminating distractions, crushing self-doubt, and channeling your energy into what matters. By the end, you'll know exactly how to harness your mind's creative power to manifest extraordinary results. Sound too good to be true? Stick around for the entire video, and you'll see just how achievable it is. It's time to break free from mental chaos and step boldly into the life you've always envisioned. Let's embark on this transformative journey, starting now. Discipline and mental focus, as Neville Goddard would emphasize, is the secret sauce to manifesting the life you want. Think of your mind as a garden. Now, not just any garden, but a garden where every thought you plant has the potential to grow into something tangible. Whether it's success, abundance, or inner peace, the seeds you sow with focused attention will eventually bloom. But here's the catch: just like any garden, it requires consistent care. You can't plant a seed today and expect it to sprout tomorrow without nurturing it, right? The same goes for your thoughts. You need to water them with your attention, sunlight them with focus, and protect them from the weeds of doubt and negativity. In a world full of distractions, this isn't as easy as it sounds. But that's where the magic lies. Realizing that the discipline of focus is your tool for creation puts you in the driver's seat. It's not about relying on circumstances, waiting for the right moment, or hoping someone else will give you the breakthrough. No, it's all about taking that mental focus, almost like a laser beam, and pointing it directly at what you want to create in your life. Every day, the mind can wander in 1,000 directions. Some might say it's like a monkey swinging from branch to branch. It's noisy, chaotic, and without the proper guidance, it can lead you away from your goals rather than toward them. But here's where disciplined focus changes everything. It's the ability to recognize when your thoughts drift and gently steer them back to the vision you've set for yourself. It's understanding that every fleeting thought carries weight, and whether you realize it or not, your mind is constantly creating your reality. You don't want to let it create by default, right? You want to control it, mold it, direct it. And you have to treat your mind like the precious tool it is. When you get this, the real magic happens. Neville Goddard often spoke of imagination being the key to everything. But imagination isn't just daydreaming. It's not the type of fantasy that comes and goes. It's the focused attention on a single vision, held consistently. When you give your imagination that kind of unwavering attention, when you hold that thought, vivid, alive, and full of emotion, that's when things start shifting in ways you can't always see at first. But this isn't about waiting for some grand moment of clarity to appear. It's about doing the inner work every day. When you commit to mental discipline, it starts becoming second nature. You notice the distractions less, you stop reacting to every external stimulus, and you begin to respond from a place of consciousness. That's when things align. That's when the mental clutter clears, and all that's left is pure focus on your desires. Discipline and focus is about saying no to the noise, to the things that don't serve your vision. It's about making a choice, over and over again, not to entertain thoughts that contradict your goals. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to see your thoughts clearly and align them with the outcomes you desire. You stop giving mental energy to things that don't matter. You stop wasting your power on things you can't control. In Neville's world, this is where real change happens. When you choose to discipline your mind and focus on your desired outcomes, you're no longer playing the role of the passive observer in your own life. You're the creator. You're the one steering the ship. And when you truly grasp the power of focused attention, you realize it's not about willpower or brute force, it's about alignment. You don't need to try harder. You need to focus smarter. When your thoughts are focused, your emotions follow, and the actions you take will align with the reality you're creating. It's a ripple effect that starts with mental discipline and flows into every aspect of your life. So, as Neville Goddard would say, it's time to wake up to this power within. Master your mind, focus your thoughts, and watch the universe move in response. This is how you manifest, not by efforting, but by focusing on the right things with unwavering discipline. And that, my friend, is how you change everything. When Neville Goddard talks about developing control over your inner conversations and assumptions, he's urging you to take command of what's happening inside your mind. It's a deeper kind of focus, one that requires more than just surface-level attention. This goes beyond merely being aware of your thoughts. It's about getting in the driver's seat and steering your mental conversations in the direction you want them to go. Think about it for a moment. Our minds are constantly running, like an unchecked stream of chatter. We're always telling ourselves stories, weaving assumptions and beliefs into the very fabric of our thoughts. Sometimes those stories are empowering, other times, they can be limiting or downright destructive. The key is recognizing that you have the ability to choose the narratives you want to live by. Now, this isn't about suppressing your thoughts, pretending they're not there, or forcing yourself to think positive 100% of the time. It's about understanding that your thoughts are malleable. When you start noticing those inner dialogues, you can shape them. Every time you engage in a conversation with yourself, whether it's about your goals, your relationships, or even just the way you see the world, you're setting the stage for your reality. And guess what? If you're not actively controlling these inner conversations, they're probably controlling you. Goddard points out that your assumptions, those beliefs you have about how the world works, how people behave, or how life is supposed to unfold, are incredibly powerful. These assumptions form the lens through which you interpret everything. And just like those inner conversations, they're often automatic. If you assume that you're always going to struggle or that things won't work out for you, your thoughts will align with those beliefs. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you flip the script, if you assume success, abundance, or love, your mind will work overtime to align with that new belief. So, how do you develop control over these conversations and assumptions? It starts with awareness. The more you pay attention to what's running through your mind, the more you'll notice patterns, thoughts that repeat themselves, beliefs that you hold on to without even realizing it. And that awareness is the first step toward changing them. But awareness alone isn't enough. You've got to actively challenge those old, worn-out assumptions. When you catch yourself thinking, "This isn't going to work," or "I'm not good enough," you need to hit the pause button and ask, is that really true? Maybe it was true in the past, but does that mean it has to be true forever? Does it have to dictate your future? Absolutely not. At this point, it's all about replacing those old narratives with ones that serve you. If your inner conversation is filled with doubt, replace it with confidence. If your assumptions tell you that success is for others but not for you, challenge that assumption and replace it with the belief that you're just as deserving as anyone else. This isn't just about thinking positive, it's about shifting the entire foundation of your inner dialogue. And here's the twist, this takes time, effort, and persistence. It's not something that happens overnight. But each time you correct a negative thought or assumption, you're building momentum. You're strengthening your ability to control the way your mind works. Over time, this new way of thinking becomes natural. It's like training a muscle. At first, it's challenging, but as you keep at it, it becomes second nature. The beauty of this is that, by focusing on controlling your inner conversations and assumptions, you're not just influencing your thoughts, you're influencing your life. When your mind is aligned with positive assumptions and empowering conversations, the world around you begins to reflect that. Things start falling into place in ways you couldn't have predicted, and you start feeling more in control of your destiny. So, the next time you find your mind spiraling into negativity, pause for a moment. Become aware of the conversation happening in your head. Take a breath. And then, gently but firmly, steer it in the direction you want it to go. You've got the power to change your inner world, and when you do, your outer world will follow. When we talk about shifting from reacting to external circumstances to confidently directing your internal state, what we're really discussing is the ultimate act of taking back control over your life. It's about saying no to the autopilot mode where life just happens to you, and instead stepping into a role where you're steering the ship, no matter what waves come crashing against the hull. Most people, without realizing it, are caught up in a cycle of reactions. A situation arises, and they respond impulsively, often based on past patterns, fear, or an automatic trigger. This is where we fall into the trap of letting our minds be ruled by circumstances. It's the constant mental chatter that gets louder every time something unexpected happens. If we're honest with ourselves, this reactionary mode can feel chaotic and exhausting. One moment, we're riding high, and the next, we're swept up by the tides of frustration, doubt, or stress. But Neville Goddard's teachings invite us to break free from this. The real power is in recognizing that the external world is simply a reflection of our internal state. The moment we understand this, everything changes. External events don't control us unless we allow them to. The world outside is always shifting, constantly offering up new challenges and distractions. But here's the thing, the external world is neutral until you assign it meaning. The interpretation of events, how you feel about them, and how you choose to respond, all of that comes from within you. Now, imagine this, instead of immediately reacting to a situation with anxiety or anger, you take a pause. You recognize the trigger, but you don't give in to it. You shift your mindset, choose a different path, and align your thoughts with a more empowering direction. This is the essence of confidently directing your internal state. It's the difference between being at the mercy of whatever comes your way and standing firm in your power, fully aware that you can create the emotional and mental response you want, regardless of the circumstances around you. When you start to focus inwardly, you realize that the mind isn't some uncontrollable beast. It's something you can train, refine, and redirect. The mind doesn't have to be a prisoner of every external circumstance. It can be an instrument of creation, a tool that helps you align your thoughts with your desires. Imagine being able to maintain a sense of calm and clarity, no matter what's unfolding in front of you. That's the true power Neville talks about, the ability to consciously direct your energy. It's not about suppressing emotions or pretending that challenges don't exist. That's not the point. Rather, it's about choosing your emotional response. It's about observing your thoughts and saying, "This is not who I am, this is not what I want to feel." Instead of being dragged into negativity, you pull yourself out and direct your energy elsewhere. You focus on what you can control, your internal state. You decide to remain rooted in confidence, in calm, in clarity. This shift also means taking responsibility for your mental environment. No longer are you a passenger in your own life, reacting to whatever happens to you. You become the driver. The way you feel, the way you think, it's all in your hands. Your internal world doesn't have to mirror the chaos around you. You can maintain peace, joy, and purpose no matter how loud or disruptive the world might get. What happens when you master this? Everything starts to shift. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by challenges, you see them as opportunities to reinforce your inner power. Instead of being moved by the whims of life, you become unshakable in your sense of direction. You're no longer a leaf in the wind, you're the wind itself, guiding your ship wherever you want it to go. This doesn't mean you won't face struggles. Life still unfolds with its ups and downs. But the key is in how you choose to respond. When you stop reacting, you open up space for conscious, purposeful action. You start aligning your internal state with the outcome you want. And, as Neville Goddard teaches, when you do that consistently, the world around you will begin to bend in accordance with your inner vision. In essence, this shift is about reclaiming the narrative of your life. Instead of being a passive observer, you become the active creator, crafting your internal reality with intention and clarity. This is how you move from mere survival to true thriving, by choosing to confidently direct your internal state, no matter what the outside world throws your way. Alright, let's dive into one of Neville Goddard's most powerful principles, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is where things get interesting, because it's not just about thinking about your desires. It's not even about visualizing them happening someday in the distant future. It's about fully embodying the feeling of having already achieved what you want. And here's the twist, you're doing this regardless of any doubts, fears, or negative thoughts that might try to sneak in. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. It sounds almost too simple. Just feel it like it's already done? Yes, that's exactly it. But, here's the thing, feeling it doesn't mean pretending. It means getting so deeply aligned with that sensation that you stop questioning whether or not it's possible. You stop doubting. You stop thinking, yeah, maybe one day, but not now. It's not about forcing the feeling either, it's about choosing it. Think of it like tuning into a radio station. Your desires have a frequency. That frequency is tied to the feeling of them already being yours. When you feel that desire as though it's already been fulfilled, you're aligning your energy to the exact frequency needed for the universe to match it back to you. But here's where it gets tricky for most people. Doubts. They love to creep in, don't they? You can feel all fired up and then, bam. A thought like, who am I to think I can have this, or what if it doesn't happen, hits you like a brick wall. That's where Neville's approach is crucial. The key is to continuously override those doubts. It's not about eliminating them or pretending they don't exist. No, it's about acknowledging them and then choosing to feel the wish fulfilled, despite those doubts, over and over again. It's almost like training your mind to get comfortable with the idea that it's already done. Every time a doubt pops up, you gently replace it with the feeling of fulfillment. You don't need to battle it. You just need to persist in the new feeling, the one that comes with knowing your desire is already in your hands. It's like any habit. The more you practice this shift, the easier it becomes to automatically go back to that feeling of being fulfilled no matter what your circumstances might suggest. Now, I get it, it's not always easy. Especially when you've been conditioned to expect things to happen a certain way. Life throws curveballs. Your current reality might look worlds apart from the dream you're trying to manifest. But this is exactly where Neville's wisdom shines. He's not saying to ignore reality. He's saying that you create a new reality by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It's an inner game, one that plays out through your consistent emotional alignment. Think about it this way, every time you indulge in the feeling of your wish being fulfilled, you're planting a seed. And just like any seed, it takes time to grow. You might not see the results immediately, but with enough persistence, that seed begins to sprout. It might take weeks or months, but each time you return to that feeling, you're nourishing it. And the more you feel it, the closer you get to seeing it manifest in your external world. Here's a crucial insight, feeling it is the real work. It's where the power is. Anyone can say they want something, but how many people are truly willing to feel the emotion of that desire, day after day, even when their circumstances don't line up? Feeling the wish fulfilled means living in a state of constant faith, faith in your own inner power to shape reality, regardless of what's currently showing up in the outer world. And this is where most people fall short. They think they need external proof to feel fulfilled. They wait for things to change before they let themselves feel successful, happy, or abundant. But Neville says, no. You must feel it first, from the inside. and then watch as everything else begins to follow suit. It's like setting the tone of a song and letting the rest of the melody fall into place. So, the next time doubt creeps in, instead of fighting it or letting it throw you off course, simply acknowledge it and then reassume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Keep going back to that inner state. Keep feeling it deeply and consistently. The longer you can maintain that state, the more powerful a force you're aligning with. Over time, those doubts will begin to lose their grip, because the feeling of your desired outcome will start to feel more real than the doubts ever did. Remember, the wish fulfilled isn't a one-time thing, it's a daily practice. And once you start making it your dominant state of being, you'll notice things begin to shift. You've assumed the feeling, and now the world has no choice but to reflect that inner assumption back to you. And that's how you conquer your mind, one feeling at a time. When Neville Goddard says that by conquering your mind, you naturally reshape your external reality, he's tapping into something profound. At first, it might sound a bit abstract, like something you'd hear in a motivational speech that leaves you wondering how exactly to make it happen. But it's not just feel-good fluff. It's about a deep, fundamental shift in the way you see yourself and the world around you. So let's break this down. We often think of reality as something rigid, like a fixed backdrop, something we have to react to. We wake up, face the day, and deal with whatever's thrown at us. But what if your reality isn't just something you're reacting to? What if it's something you're actively creating, moment by moment, through your thoughts, beliefs, and inner conversations? Now, I'm not saying that your mind is some magical force that can instantly change the world. It's not about snapping your fingers and watching everything fall into place. But here's the truth, the way you think, feel, and believe has a much bigger impact on your life than you might realize. When you conquer your mind, when you learn to control those wandering thoughts and unproductive habits of thinking, you start shaping the experiences and outcomes that show up in your life. You see, your mind is like a lens through which you perceive the world. If you're constantly bogged down by fear, negativity, and doubt, then that's how you'll experience reality. You'll see obstacles, you'll see limitations, and you'll start to believe that they're just how things are. But when you take control of your mind, when you choose to focus on possibility, on growth, and on the things you want to create, your entire perspective shifts. And that shift is what changes everything. It's not just about having a positive mindset, though that's important too. It's about being deliberate with your thoughts. If you've ever caught yourself thinking this will never work or I'm just not lucky, you know how easy it is to get stuck in those cycles. Those are assumptions, and assumptions are powerful. If you assume things are impossible or out of your reach, your actions, your choices, and even your body language will align with that assumption. But when you make a conscious effort to reshape those assumptions, when you shift your thoughts toward success, toward possibility, you start to see the world differently. You begin to notice opportunities, to take actions you might have ignored before, and to show up in ways that align with your new beliefs. This shift isn't just in your head, it starts to show up in your external reality, too. When you conquer your mind and reshape your assumptions, you start aligning with the life you want. You'll notice that doors begin to open. Opportunities you might have missed before suddenly seem to pop up. People react to you differently. You attract the things you've been focusing on because your energy has changed. And this is not some mystical concept, it's practical. Your mind influences your behavior influences your interactions, and those interactions influence your world. Think about it, we all know someone who always seems to be in a good mood, someone who is naturally positive and optimistic. It's not just their personality, it's the energy they project. They're able to focus on what's working, on the positive side of things, and as a result, they tend to have more positive experiences. On the flip side, people who constantly dwell on what's wrong, who always see the glass half empty, tend to attract more of what they don't want. It's a pattern. And the great thing is, you can decide which pattern you want to follow. By conquering your mind, you stop reacting passively to life and start taking an active role in creating your experiences. You begin to understand that your thoughts aren't just fleeting things, they're powerful forces that shape your destiny. And once you recognize that, you can use it to your advantage. The more control you have over your inner world, the more your outer world will begin to reflect that control. It's not magic, it's the law of cause and effect. Master your mind, and watch as your reality shifts accordingly. In the end, conquering your mind isn't just about thinking happy thoughts or staying positive all the time. It's about taking responsibility for the way you perceive the world, for the assumptions you carry, and for the stories you tell yourself. When you own that power, you unlock the ability to reshape your external reality, step by step, until what you experience on the outside matches the clarity, focus, and purpose you've cultivated on the inside. That's it for today, Modern Stoics. Now's the time to take control of your mind and focus on what truly matters. When you master your thoughts, you unlock your full potential to create the life you desire. If this video empowered you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that will help you conquer your mind and manifest your dreams. Drop a comment below and let me know how you're taking control of your thoughts today. Keep focusing, stay determined, and I'll see you in the next one.